Hey, knitters! Welcome to episode 218 of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I'm your host, Devin You can find me at KnittyMcPurly.com. I am Knitty McPurly on Instagram. And if you want to email me, I'm Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. Welcome, knitters. Welcome, husbands. I know the husbands are like, let's go see what Knitty McPurly's drinking out of today. Today we have Washington. Okay, it's the lipstick side. Hold on. There. We've got Washington. Thank you to my wonderful group of Washington knitters who gave me this wonderful cup. Midway through my second cup of coffee, starting to feel it, starting to get good. It is hot today, you guys. It's going to be like 80 degrees here in Virginia, and it's overcast, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of icky. I don't love it. If it's going to be hot, it needs to be sunny and not humid. Like, these are my requests. But to accommodate the heat today, I am wearing my wildflower tee. This is a pattern by Wise Owl Knits. There are kits in my shop for it. If you want to make one of your own, those kits are always there because if you remember, I wanted to make mine in that Pennsylvania Dutch Distelfink kind of color scheme, and I just love it. It's really, really cool. I'm going to a bridal shower later, so I got some dress pants on with it. Anyway, welcome. Let's get to progress and shop news because there is a lot of it. I have big news. Fun things are happening in the shop. So we are about halfway through both Lent and the Flutterbutt Knitalong. I did manage to take some glamour shots. I can't remember if I showed these last week or not, but I took some glamour shots of my Flutterbutt shirt that I was wearing last week on the podcast. I did finish that. That was super great to get that done. It took me about 2 weeks, and I've worn it a couple times since then. I thought about wearing it today, but I thought I wore it last week on the podcast. So anyway, I'm going to get to that knit-along in a minute because we are planning ahead for our next knit-along, which is going to start Easter Sunday, April 20th, which is also my wedding anniversary, side note. And it's going to run for about 6 weeks through June 1st. We are making Andrea Mowry's Hey Sailor tee. I love it. I think it is so, so cute. It's mosaic knitting, which if you are not familiar, probably you are, but if you're not familiar, mosaic knitting is a way of knitting color work without having to hold two strands at one time. You work the opposite color just by slipping the stitches from the previous row. It's a super, oh my gosh, there's a nasty wasp on the window. It's wasp season. Oh my gosh, spring is here. Anyway, it's a great way to work color work. You look like a rock star, but all you really did was slip some stitches. It's like many things in knitting where you look amazing doing it, but you're like, well, it was actually pretty easy. Now, stranded knitting, I would not say that about. I think stranded knitting is kind of a challenge. You have to learn how to tension the yarn and hold the strands because if you tension them differently, you're going to have a dominant color. I tend to deny the existence of color dominance because I somehow I don't do it. My tension is the same on both because of the way I do it, I guess. But there's a lot to stranded knitting, whereas mosaic knitting is just so much easier, and that makes it really fun. So anyway, I will have kits. We are going to do the Fiji fingering, which is a dream. It is the best summer yarn. I did 2 tops last year in the Fiji fingering. If you recall, I did the Summer Vibe top and the Jupiter crop in the Fiji fingering, and they are perfect for summer. So they're half cotton, half wool, and that allows you to knit with them and your hands don't hurt, like can sometimes happen with cotton. But because of that cotton content, they are so much cooler. So we're going to have kit. The kits are up. If you want a kit, you can go get it. I'm going to keep talking about it, but they are up there. Andrea graciously allowed me to use her pictures on my website and in my newsletter. She's very nice. And there's a link to purchase the pattern from her on her website in my listing. So I have organized the kits by size, and she has the pattern like she has the yarn requirements for both the cropped version, which is the version she's wearing here, or a full-length version. So I had those kits, and I triple checked to make sure that with my yarn, that is the number of skeins you should need if you don't make any mods. So, granted, if you change something, you'll want to buy the yarn, the appropriate amount of yarn for whatever changes you want to make. So the main color in this sweater is the white in Andrea's sweater. The white is the main color, and the contrast color is the reddish orange color. So if you order a kit, choose your size, and then at the very end, you have there's a comment section. Just write in there what color you want as your main color and what color is the contrast color. If you just write the two colors, I'm going to email you and say, which do you want for your main color and which do you want for your contrast color? I wanted to show you some color combos. I put pictures in the listing so that you can see some that I like together. Now, Fiji fingering dyes up more muted than the regular 100% wool or even a wool nylon blend. So it is a little bit more muted, but this is Morel and Poirot, which I think are really pretty. Now, Jovis is my white. It's a warm white, and it goes with everything. Jovis and Valentine, Jovis and Fontaine. Fontaine also looks super good with Bougie, which is a very, very pale pink. And so it almost kind of acts like a pink leaning white when it's in the Fiji. Jovis and Fathom. Sorry, I have my light on because it's so dim in here, and it's just kind of, there we go. So Jovis looks good with everything. Also, I love Dusty and Roxette. That's gorgeous. I don't know what I'm going to pick, you guys. I love them all. I genuinely am I want to make all of these combos. Jovis and Meadow. Love Meadow. You guys know how I feel about Meadow. It's like my color. I love Jovis with Bosque. And River Rock. Like this one, I love this one. It would be a more neutral color palette, but there's still a good bit of distinction. It's not low contrast, but it would definitely be more neutral. Jovis and Beryl looks amazing. Black Forest Cake and Bosque. You don't have to mix it with the white. I do love that, but there are other good color combinations. You can pick any two you want. It doesn't have to be one that's shown on the website. Any two colors you want, and I will make that happen for you. Now, these are pre-orders, so they will ship on or before April 14th. They'll ship earlier than that, but that's the latest date that they could potentially ship, so that you have them ready for the 20th, so that you can cast on Easter Sunday, which I totally plan to do. Cannot wait once I pick something. Oh, I also loved Thistle with Jovis. And I'm not a big purple person, but I love that combo. It's just so pretty. This would be a great kind of spring/Lent garment. I like to wear purple during Lent, even though, purple, like I said, it's not really my thing. But anyway, if you find that you need another skein, you can just go into the website, choose your color, and then scroll down to the Fiji fingering section and just order a skein individually too. But if you if you know your size and you choose the right kit, you should have the right amount of yarn. So we're going to use the hashtag KMP Hey Sailor Cal on Instagram, and that will be our hashtag for posting your glamour shot at the end. So remember, glamour shot just means that you need a nice background, either a part of your house that's not your bathroom or your closet, a place where, by your couch is fine, or in your yard is perfect. All yards look good. So, trees are always a good surround, and you have to be smiling. You have to look like, and do some kind of a pose, whatever you want, but glamour shot, none of this selfie in the mirror, no dirty mirror selfies. That does not count. It has to be a smiling picture in some sort of nice looking background. Okay. Oh, another thing I did, and I put these in the listing, is I looked on Etsy for some cute buttons. So this sweater is totally reversible. You can put the buttons in the front or down the back. I love them down the back because you don't expect them to be down the back. I think it's really cute. I just think that's such a special design feature of this top. I love that it's open and that it has buttons. I just think it just puts it over the top. So I found some. They're 15 millimeter buttons, and you need between 9 and 12, depending on your size. So I found a couple that I liked on Etsy, and I put them in the description for the kits on my website. So if you look in there, you can find a link to Andrea's pattern, which you could, of course, also Google, but also all of the details, all of what you will get with each size, and those button ideas. They're just a couple that I found that I liked. Any 15 millimeter buttons will do. Maybe you already have those. But again, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Like, I loved all of them, thought that they were all amazing, and I don't know how I'm going to pick. Okay. Also new in the shop is April's color of the month. And we are so fresh on April. I'm going to turn it off, and it's going to be too dark, but it's okay. We are so fresh on April that the mini skeins and DK are still drying. So the mini skeins are this turquoise color for the sock sets. But April, it's the light. I don't know, but it's overcast. It's not even bright out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is like a very, very pale green, kind of a green leaning white background with many, many brightly colored speckles. It just made me think of April and the rain and the green that's just starting and the little flowers that are popping up. So that is April, and it is available now. Also, as soon as the mini skeins dry, I will take their picture and I will put them on the website for the sock set so that you can see those. Also, there are some new markdowns in the shop. You're going to want to go to the shop, okay? You're going to want to go check that out. A lot of accessories are marked down. The Devin scissors, like I showed. Oh, I forgot to put mine on today, but the stitch marker necklace is at its lowest price yet. So if you have been wanting one, go get one of those. It comes in either gold or silver. In my humble opinion, the gold feels a little dressier and the silver feels a little bit more everyday. So that's kind of how I play it. Although my jewelry tends to be gold, so I like the gold. Although my daughters tell me that mixing metals is like a thing, and that we should do it. Whatever, I don't know. The Amelia needle case, the Murdog enamel pin, the little stitch marker tins that are so cute that you can tuck in your little notions bag, those are on sale. So if you are in the market for some new notions to go with your Hey Sailor kit, you can go ahead and, as Lori likes to say, hi Lori, put a little love in your cart. And Lindsay, of course. Hi Lindsay. I'm sure it's probably Lindsay. Okay. So our Flutterbutt Knitalong, as I said, we have 3 weeks left. Like, you could legit still get in on this Knitalong. I knit mine in 2 weeks, and I'm working on my second one. Got it in this cute bag. Isn't this bag cute? I love orange. For as much as it's just not my color, I really like it. So if you recall, I am using this Madeline Tosh Modern Fair Isle. It's a white with orange and brown speckles, again with the orange. And my progress is pretty unexciting. Put my stitch stoppers off. It's just kind of unexciting. This is the part where it rolls up a lot. And I'm almost to the point where I'm going to divide for the sleeve. So for this one, I'm making it as the pattern suggests. For my pink one, I knit the body longer and the yoke shorter so that it would shore up the armholes because I wanted to be able to wear it by itself. I knit a much longer ruffle to make it a full length sweater, and I knit shorter sleeves. Now for this one, I will probably keep the shorter sleeves, but I'm going to knit it cropped with the bigger armholes because I want this to be a layering piece. I like the idea of wearing it over dresses. When I was in Florida with my friends, we went to Mass Saturday night, and several of my friends had on spaghetti strap dresses. So right before we went into Mass, they just threw on this like lace or some sort of not full-size sweater to just cover their shoulders. And I thought, how is it possible that that my friends own these garments and I, as a knitter, don't own something like that? That's insane. So I need to go make that. So that's this. I really like the idea of just being able to pop this on over something and have it become something modest that I could wear to church. So that's that. Again, it's a little unexciting. Everything, all of my progress that I'm going to show you is a little unexciting, but I did work on them all. I did. That happened. So on my Benedicta, if you recall, a couple weeks ago when I showed this, see, now that I have all of my cool podcaster stuff, it's in the way. See, it's the other podcasts that I watch aren't knitting podcasts. And so I'm trying to be cool here, but it's causing me trouble. So, so down here, the body of the Benedicta is supposed to be knit in the contrast color, but this particular yarn was too busy to be the contrast color. So I decided to do that in the River Rock. This was, I think, September's color of the month from last year, paired with River Rock. And sometimes the color of the month is very speckly and even and would be perfect for a big section in a colorwork sweater like this. But sometimes it's stripy. And I thought for this particular yarn, I'm just going to keep it as the background color. And that way it won't get too busy. And you can do that. You can, as you are going along, change your mind and say, well, for this particular yarn, I'm not getting the look that I want. So I'm going to do something different. That's the beauty of making our own clothes, that we can change it up. And the more you knit, the more sweaters you knit, the more socks you knit, the better you'll get at avoiding those pitfalls before you've knit the thing and are done and hold it up and go, I don't like this. Like, we want to avoid that. Stop in the middle and say, is this what I want? Am I getting what I want out of this? All right. Another unexciting whip is my Traveler shell, which is just, it's in the floppy stage. So I have both fronts worked. Both fronts are worked, and then I'm working on the back. So this will get exciting once I seam it together and I can put it on. The Flutterbutt was the same way. Once you knit the front and the back and you seam the shoulders, then it's a garment and you can put it on and say, does this fit? Before you invest the rest of the time in knitting the ruffles. So, okay, moving along to the comments section. Oklahoma, Texas Sheep Lady says, I can totally relate to not being a city person. Someone commented that they found Alaska disappointing because there's almost nothing to do but watch wildlife and see scenery. No shopping or any city attractions. Ha! They couldn't have said anything to make me want to go more. But they were actually wrong. The fiber shopping is world class, with Quivet being the best discovery. I'm guessing that's a yarn store. Being a rather cold place, knitting is a very popular activity. The Net Loft in Cordova is a jewel of a shop with the best of everything, including the goods of several dyers. You will fall in love with Alaska too. The largest state in the Union has less than 1 million people. I would love to go to Alaska. I would love to do one of those Alaskan cruises, except that it's on a boat. If cruises weren't on boats, I'd be all over them. I don't know. It's like being in an airplane. And I do ride on airplanes, but I don't like it. Like, I guess I like to be in control of my situation. And when you're on an airplane or a giant boat, you're just not. Irish Bell says, we missed you too, but I'm so glad you had great trips. I too love quiet vacations. My current whip is using Bougie and the 2023 Retreat colorway. I'm so glad to be able to use my leftovers for something new. So far, the Bougie has been used in my Hawthorne DK pullover, a faux set for my daughter, and now it's part of a spring blossom dress for my cousin's baby due in the spring. I'm about to add in the retreat colorway as the skirt of the dress. KMP colors never disappoint. Thank you so much. I love that you're using leftovers. I love to use leftovers. It just makes me feel so good. I hate to waste things. It's like wasting food. When my family looks in the fridge, which is filled with like prepped meals, AKA leftovers, portioned, and they're like, there's nothing to eat. I'm like, get out. There is food in there, and it's the same with yarn. However, I knit a lot of sweaters, and sweaters are not super conducive to using leftovers. I tend to get new yarn for leftovers. For sweaters. But it would be great to make like socks. Sometimes if I have a hat or an accessory project that is heavier weight, I'll hold together 2 skeins of fingering or DK or whatever I need to achieve that weight. And that's good for using up leftovers too. And I like scrappy patterns like mittens and hats. Those are great. Okay. This comment won the comment section from last week. Anne Marie. Hi, Anne Marie. Hi, Anne Marie's husband. I'm saying this on the internet. Anne Marie says, I just had a good giggle. This is how you know that you're watching a lot of knitting podcasts. My non-knitworthy husband got out of the shower and walked through the lounge butt naked. He said, all right, let's talk about what I'm wearing today. Absolutely nothing. Fortunately, our kids are grown and I was the only one there. Okay. That's just the best comment ever. First of all, that it happened. Second of all, that you told me about it. That is hilarious. I am wearing my wildflower tee. Thank goodness, because otherwise that would break the internet in a whole other way. Rosemary says, Devin, help. I'm knitting a summer top for my very picky 6-year-old granddaughter. She says, going on 26. Does that mean you have 26 grandchildren? That's a lot of grandchildren. She says, I noticed that the ribbing on the neckline is folding down. It's a top-down pattern with a 1x1 ribbing of only 3 rows, so the ribbing is very short. Will this block flat when I'm finished? It seems to fold at the point where the ribbing meets the stockinette body, so I don't think adding to the ribbing will help. Do you think sewing steeking ribbon to the inside where the ribbing meets the stockinette would help? I know she won't wear it if it doesn't look right or feel right. I knit 10 pairs of socks the summer before she and her twin sister started kindergarten, and neither of them ever wore them. Oh, that breaks your heart, doesn't it? They said they felt funny in their shoes. I have worked so hard on this sweater, and I really want her to wear it. I wouldn't even have made anything else for her after the sock debacle, but she begged for a sweater, and now her twin wants one too. Help. Okay. Only 3 rows of ribbing is very short, and that is definitely going to roll when you're making it. I don't think I've ever knit ribbing quite that short, but if I have knit, say, 5 rows of ribbing on a fingering weight sweater. Did you say this was fingering weight? I don't know. The weight does matter because the heavier the weight, the more likely it is you'll be able to get it to lay flat. I have always been able to get it to lay flat with just blocking. And sometimes you need to fold it like the other way while you're drying it to get it to lay flat. I suggested that she wait to sew anything onto it and see if the granddaughter likes it this way, because that could cause the ribbon itself could cause sensory issues. You know, I get it. I have kids like that too. If it doesn't feel right, they're not wearing it. So I would say, see if it works. And if it doesn't, then try adding the ribbon. You could, I don't know how far on it you are. You could rip back and knit a little bit more ribbing, because the more ribbing you have, the less likely it is to roll. But it's up to you. I think probably it'll block out. That's what I think. Okay. Deborah says, now this is a question I did not know the answer to. So please answer this question. Amazing, wonderful knitters who have a ton of knowledge. Deborah says, okay, I'm experimenting on knitting socks that can withstand hiking for at least 5 miles. Any suggestions on type of yarn/yarn blend for sturdiness, breathability, and frictionlessness? I've been told pure wool, but I don't know. My gut says you should get some that have nylon in them because nylon adds strength. I would think, and I do not hike in hand knit socks. I just don't do that. But I would think that like a 75-25 would be good. But if you have a different opinion, if you're a hiker and you make socks for hiking, please let us and Deborah know in the comments. Carrie says, when Andrea first released her Hey Sailor pattern, I remember her saying it could be worn reversed so that you could have the buttons in the front or the back. So it must be the same size front and back. Yes, that's true. It's, I think, the same front and back because it's totally reversible. Okay. Knitting fantasies. So because I've been on Andrea's website, I have been very inspired by her patterns. She's just really good at this, you guys. I mean, she designs really well. She looks amazing in her pictures. Her photography is great. Like, she just hits all the things. And her newest one is called the Everyday Cardi. And I just think she did such a great job with the fit. The collar is folded, which will keep it standing up. And that's everything. Like, if you have a collar that you want to have a little bit of stiffness to it, fold it. Like, it just looks so good. And sometimes it looks great on the designer, but you go look at the projects that people have done and you can't find a single one that looks good. And granted, she probably handpicks her testers who, also have good photography and look good in their things and do good knitting and all that. But they all looked really good. Like, across the board, they looked good. So I would definitely knit this. This, I think, would be good in 100% wool yarn, probably a non-superwash. The one that she chose is called Mountain Meadow Tweed. This pattern is a sport weight. I would have guessed that it was a little thicker, but it's a sport weight. 100% merino, and I'm guessing that it is not superwash because you're going to get much better stickiness and stiffness of that collar with the non-superwash yarn. And it comes in 10 sizes up to a 70-inch bust. I have never met such a person because that is almost 6 feet in circumference. I don't think that person exists, but just to cover the bases, okay. This is really, really pretty. The next one I picked is more seasonally appropriate and that it is the Velour. I'm guessing that's how it looks like, how you say it. If I've said it wrong, I don't care. I'm leaning into it. It's called the Velour. It's a short sleeve top. Very, very pretty. Comes in 9 sizes. Again, up to 71.5, nearly 6 feet in circumference. This is a light fingering weight. So if you're using a fingering weight yarn, I would definitely swatch and use the gauge switcheroo worksheet, which is free on my website. If you have not gotten that already, you can always download that and put in your gauge and put in the gauge of the pattern and do the magic to get what size you can make, especially in these great size inclusive patterns. So I just knocked her a little bit for going up to, a size that I've never seen a person that size. But honestly, it's really nice because if you need to knit it at a different size to accommodate your gauge, it's really nice to have those extra sizes. So there you have it. All right. So here's what happened. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, it's been, I think, a couple months ago now, I shared a story from Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Rachel is an extremely prolific knitter. She gets stuff done. And if you recall, in the story, she was making Joji Locatelli's Quiet Stars cardigan. She had made one for her friend. And hopefully I don't get anything wrong here, Rachel. I'm not going to retell the whole story. I'm just going to kind of sum it up. If I get anything wrong, hopefully it won't be too critical to the story. The friend wanted Rachel to knit a Quiet Stars for her doctor as a gift. So Rachel started it and was putting it off. I think she wanted it for Christmas. And then when she went to pick up the stitches, so I think she had one sleeve done. She was like on the last sleeve and just not feeling it in the moment. But she's like, okay, I got to get this done. She goes to pick up the stitches, and I think her sleeve cap was slightly askew. And she was like, ugh, I'm already not in love with knitting this other sleeve, not really super excited about it. And now I've made a mistake and I just want to throw it in the garbage. But she thankfully did not do that. Rachel went against her normal instincts and said, I'm just going to leave it because this person is not a knitter and they're never in a million years going to notice this very, very slight mistake. So she was kind of like proud of herself, like I did this. And that was when she submitted the story. And I was like, Rachel, well, what happened next? What happened after that? So she has sent a follow-up. Here is what happened after that. She says, well, the imperfect left sleeve was indeed finished within a couple days of casting it on. I made a slight modification to the cuff by knitting only 3 of the 4 inches of lace and finishing it off with 1 inch of 1x1 twisted rib and an I-cord bind off. Good grief. Rachel, you win the knitting award. That's just amazing. Hey, my friend's doctor needs a sweater. Can you knit this super complicated one in fingering weight yarn? You can do that, right? Rachel's like, yes, that's awesome. She says, I got the idea from seeing a similar finishing on a sweater sleeve on a podcast many months ago. The right sleeve turned out perfectly as I used the correct, okay, so she didn't already have that sleeve done. This was the first sleeve. As I used the correct numbers for the sleeve cap like a good little pattern reader. Pro tip, I used a 2.5 millimeter needle to pick up the sleeve stitches on both sleeves and knit a full round on 2.75 millimeter needles before starting the sleeve cap. This creates a much tidier pickup and the beginning of the sleeve. Good to know. As for the ties, the pattern calls for them to be worked in garter stitch to match the garter stitch detail along the front bands. Instead, I picked up 21 stitches about 4 inches down from the underarm and worked 17 stitches of 1x1 twisted rib in between 2 I-cord stitches on each edge. And then I finished the tie with an I-cord bind off. So are you saying you connected it? I don't quite understand. She picked them up so that it was attached. That's a good, oh, I see. So it didn't have to go all the way around. It just kind of came out from the side. Good idea. I knit both 19-inch ties in about 4 days and it just about wrecked my right arm. The doctor absolutely adores her sweater, but sadly, I was so overwhelmed with finishing it in time that I completely spaced on taking pictures of it before I gave it to my friend Bryn to give to the doctor. Which is fine. We can look at Hohi's beautiful pictures just so we know what we're talking about. She says, all in all, it was the best outcome I could have hoped for. Honestly, it may be a while before I knit that pattern again. As far as commissions go, I just started the yoke of a heavily modified Coco Knits Eva cardigan for another friend who purchased the yarn for me to design and knit a cardigan for her. I'll be sure to take pictures of this one and share them when it's finished. Wow. I am a selfish knitter, although there is a person that I might give this sweater to. I haven't decided yet. I might not. I might keep it for myself because I'm a selfish knitter. But I don't know. I just like fashion and I like clothes. And so, I get excited about making things for myself. So anyway, if you have a knitting story, send it to me. Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. I would love to share it on the podcast. It's everyone's favorite part. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday filled with knitting. Go check out my website. It's got good stuff on it. New stuff, old stuff that's on sale. Go get it. All right. Bye, knitters.